We're live.
Yes.
Hello. Bienvenidos. In case you forgot, I am Leonardo Torres.
I'm Erika.
And together we are
Erika.
Leonardo. Okay, we used to be so excited about that, but it's not that we're not excited today. It's just that we've had a rough last couple of days.
I'm still having it rough. Look, he looks all nice. This is what you see right here. The bun.
What?
This is yeah. I'm still a little run down.
Yeah.
Look at the hair.
No, you're not.
I'm too.
Not feeling well still today, but you want to tell them what's going on?
What's going on?
What happened? Why are we not feeling well?
Oh, I thought it was something specific. Like,
yup, I'm back.
well, we got our vaccines on, was it Monday? Monday.
Yeah, we got them on Monday.
Shoot, see, I'm all over the place.
I don't even, yeah.
Monday we got them, and we got it, and I didn't even feel sore in my arm. I'm like, this is gonna be good. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna be good.
We're all confident on Monday.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, hey, the soreness isn't the same as it was last
It still
time.
hurts.
Cool.
And then Monday night, though, I was like, after we did the live, I started to feel just obviously during the live. I said I had to sit down because I was starting to feel everything at once, and then I started to feel like kind of shaky, the chills, and I was like, oh no. And then on Tuesday, yesterday was probably the worst of it, like all day, just chills. I didn't get so much of the fever. He got like borderline. It was like 99, but that's really, really, like, that's a fever for him because he does never get fevers. So, but
Never, but yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Angela, Roxana.
Hello. And so, yesterday was just all bad. We were, the guy that was supposed to show up to fix our internet never even showed up. We were dying in the living room waiting for the dude.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to chill in the living room. I wanted to come and literally just lay on the bed. I was cold. It was 106 degrees out here, and I was cold. Yeah. I wanted to just, so I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. So I ended up falling asleep too. We slept all afternoon, and then we watched a couple movies, and then fell asleep and slept a really long time. It felt really good to sleep that long.
Yeah, we slept like 8.5 hours straight. Yeah. That never happens for us.
And we're feeling a lot better today. I feel like I'm going to feel 100% tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be 85, 90.
I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, I'm hoping that I'll feel 100% tomorrow. Marilyn, why?
Why to what though?
Why what? Why are we feeling the way we're feeling? Because we got our vaccines. Hello, Mighty. Mighty. Hello. Hi, Angela. Good morning, Linda. Wakey. Good morning, Roxana. Cap. Wasabi.
Look at him.
Hey. Yeah. It's coming in. It's coming in really well. Actually, I want to point something out. Do you all know this shirt? Milk and honey.
Milk and honey.
It means nothing to me.
Leche y miel.
I think I know who sent it to me, but there was no note with it or anything. Somebody sent me a shirt and a hat, which I don't think I'm going to wear the hat. I appreciate it, but this is just not my style. This is not my style. let's just say that I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a.
I'm sorry.
I'm not a. Yeah. No, I love the hat. I love the colors, but yeah, I don't see myself wearing that hat. So, but they send this shirt that says "Good God Almighty" in the bottom. Okay. And it's got Crowder, so I think I know who sent it. There was a gentleman who asked me for my mailing address a really long time ago.
I'm sorry. I was just processing.
Are you okay?
While I was drinking the coffee. I'm like, when you had it on, I was just picturing what it looked like. Never mind.
Okay. All right.
See? You need to drive a semi with that hat. That's exactly what I told her.
She was like, you look like a trucker. Yeah. So I think it's somebody who told me that they work with Crowder. You forgive me. I don't remember your name. I've got tons of messages on Instagram, so your message was lost. But if you could please remind me who you are and stuff, I would love to thank you for the shirt and the hat too, even though I don't see myself wearing the hat. I think you said you were also promoting Andy Manel, I think. And if it was you, I think you said you were going to send some merch for that too. I'm not sure, but Anyway, please let me know. I'd like to thank you. It's pronounced E. Oh, it's meaty. Okay, cool.
Oh,
A-E-I, Mickey. Okay, meaty.
got it.
Thank you so much for that. So yes, this is my new shirt. I'm not sure. An interview Crowder. He's fun. I'd love to one day. Yeah. Angela, Roxana says she's tired even if she just woke up now. She has to go to work in 30 minutes. Oh man. Anyways, we hope you're doing well. We're doing a little bit better today than we were yesterday. That's for sure. I'm very proud of her because she was definitely not feeling well. You could see that she wanted to go into this like complete surrender to this thing, but she was just like, she was pushing it and fighting it through. So
I'm still
proud of
I'm
you.
going through like I said, I'm really tired still, but it's okay.
Yeah. I think after this premiere, which we're not looking to do make long, we're going to be recording another reaction video. How do you feel about that?
Got it.
We'll do a reaction video to another song, and then we'll post it in the next day or two. And then see what's up. I sent you a message on Instagram, Leo. Hope you guys are doing. Guys keep bouncing back. Yeah, thank you. I haven't checked it, but I will check it. Cap, thank you. Hello from Idaho. Oh, hello. Hello from California. So we came on here. We wanted to take some cues, and hopefully we can give you some A's. Jeff Davenport, hey you, watching this video, spread love. Hey, you guys are doing well, praying at the side effects. We're up soon. Thank you so much. By the way, Jeff Davenport is my good friend from Arizona. He says he's going to visit us pretty soon, and we're going to have some tacos. But every time he sends me a message on Instagram, he says, hey you, watching this video, spread love. He's awesome. Thanks for being awesome, Jeff.
Yes.
I get my first vaccine in a few days on the 23rd. Well, good luck to you.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Good luck. I hope everything goes well. Hello, my friends. Pray all is well. Yes, all is well. Thank you. Miracles happen every day. Is that our friend Rene?
I don't know. It looks like him, but I don't think so. Maybe.
I'm not sure. If you're Rene,
maybe perhaps
reveal yourself. Maybe.
Hello, Tammy.
Maybe perhaps
from
quizás.
Casey. Okay.
Yeah. Is that
Kansas City? Maybe.
No, Kentucky? I think Kentucky.
I thought it was
I'm not
City.
sure. I have Compton education, so forgive me.
I thought it was Kansas City, but I could be wrong.
It might be. Maybe it's like
It could, what were you thinking? Kentucky?
Kentucky?
I thought Kentucky had an Y in it for abbreviation.
Oh, see, she says yes. Yes to which one?
Kansas City or Kentucky?
Kansas City. Oh, whoop, whoop. Okay, so you're right. Okay.
Wow. See, don't doubt myself. I always doubt myself.
Now I'm wondering what Kentucky is.
I think there's a Y in there for abbreviation, I think. I don't know why.
KY?
No. I don't know.
Let's see. Hey, how's everybody doing? Love from Australia.
Ooh.
Australia. Hello. Kansas City. Okay. Boy, is my
yes, it's
right.
me, Rene.
Wow,
that was a good call.
See,
wow.
I'm not always wrong. Oh, it is KY. Got it.
See, wow, I know.
Okay, see,
I know something.
We all know something
From Belgium.
Belgium. Okay, we got friends in Belgium. We got friends from Australia. We got
Las Vegas.
friends from Las Vegas. Saludos a Las Vegas. And we got friends in Kansas City. In Germany,
all over the world,
in Belgium's new. I think? Oh, I don't know, Linda. Did you catch the game? I think there was a Finland versus Russia game.
Really, we didn't watch it.
We didn't watch it. I couldn't find it on TV, so we didn't watch it. But I'm not sure. Yeah. And he had friends in Chicago too. Rene from Chicago. Yeah. So I apologize. Today we did not have a Holy Spirit segment. Mostly was because of how we were feeling. I didn't want to schedule it for you all and then have me feel super crummy and not actually be 100% here. So we didn't have one for that reason. But we will continue it next week. I promise you. Yesterday also we didn't have the talk about it Tuesdays, but to be honest, like I was so out of it, I even forgot to take out the trash today. I feel horrible because I heard the trash, truck, the garbage truck, And I paused and I was like, I forgot to take out the trash. So we're going to have extra trash next week.
You see how he's scared because we were just having a conversation, like, and all of a sudden it was like a, and he wasn't moving. I'm all, what happened? And he's all, the trash. I'm all, no.
Yeah, I was way off today. Kita.
Hi, Kita.
Hi. Kansas side. But
David Wellman's here.
David in the house. What's up, David? Angela beat you today. You're usually one of the first ones on here, and now it was Angela today. Hey, bro, sending you love from India.
Oh, got India.
We don't have too many people from India. Namaste. Welcome. Let's see. That's the best side of Kansas. Oh, sorry. There's like a whole different conversation going on.
What's the weather for you guys right now? What's the temp right now? Well, ours is 106, 107. It's cooled down. I think it's 100 now, which is cool, I guess. But the weekend is supposed to be like 112, 114, something like that. So what's the weather for you guys?
What's it like right now? I know some of you are going to use Celsius, and I'll do my best to convert it. But if you can use Fahrenheit, it'd be easier for us.
Porfa, please.
Are you calling me a slacker? What?
Never, my friend.
I don't know if she's talking to us or to David.
I think she's talking to us because you said that David's usually here before her.
Yes, to have a bad wheel. Excuses.
68 degrees? Oh, I'm going wherever he's at.
73 clear in Middle Tennessee.
Or that too.
68 degrees. Howdy.
Hi, PJ.
Hi. Hello. In Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Tammy, we feel you. Kind of.
Ooh. Yeah, we got it to 106, I think, today. Yeah, not really digging it. I went to Palm Springs once, and it was at 120. And when I thought that getting into the pool was going to be like the right idea, but it was like sick. It was really hot. It was really, really hot. In Indianapolis, 117 today. Wow. Heat index in the hundreds in South Texas. Not good.
MJ. Dude, what's with the spontaneous late night videos?
Yo, dude. Yeah, I missed today's earlier video, so I just wanted to come on here and say hello to my friends and family and my familia, actually. And
apologize.
And apologize for not being around, and to give you an update on how we're feeling, because we got vaccinated 2 days ago, and yesterday we were like, bad. No bueno. It was no bueno. 58 in Idaho. I feel like a meteorologist right now. Like 50, we got 58 in Idaho. It's going 100 right now in Las Vegas. I love the series of the Holy Spirit. I'm in a 10-week course on the Holy Spirit for the church in Ghana. Wow, that's awesome. Oh, Pastor Chad, the hat. Oh, you like the hat? You like the hat? Yeah, you like it? Yeah. Man. Okay, so everybody. Pastor Chad did a segment, a little segment on his channel this last Monday. Was it Monday, Pastor Chad? He sent me a link to it today. And it's about love, and it's about going to heaven, and it's about living here, living your purpose, and it's about freedom in Christ. Mm-hmm. And it's an awesome conversation. I'll do my best to link it at the end. But you guys have to check it out. You really do have to check it out. It is fuego, like the fire here. I don't know why I use my mouse to point at it, like you guys can see my mouse. Oh, get that? Yeah, that's why COVID, or the COVID shot.
I was like, what?
Let's see. It feels like 105. With 100% humidity. Ooh.
I don't like the humidity. I do not.
I think mustache would probably ungrow. It would probably like go back into my skin if it were that humid. But yeah, Pastor Chad, excellent talk, man. I loved it. I love the part about loving your neighbor specifically. And I want to see more of that. Like seriously, like I'm going to put out more of that. I realize now that this whole channel is about spreading love and spreading peace, and I'm gonna make that I'm gonna push that out a lot more, mm-hmm. Right? And we're excited because yes, we're still gonna continue with the reaction videos. Gonna maybe not do every day from now on, but I am also going to have a few segments where we'll come on and answer some questions from Instagram and get deeper, like spiritually speaking, with some of those questions, because somebody asked a very specific question today. On Instagram, I put, if God is the answer, then what is the question? So I want to hear from you now. So if God is the answer, what is the question, familia, for you? Somebody said, how do you find peace in the chaos, right? So the answer is God, right? And I wanted to go deeper into that. So not now, but I'm going to go deeper into that in another pre-recorded conversation or another pre-recorded video, where I'm going to break it down with slides and everything. And we're going to spread love, and we're going to make sure that everybody knows to stay focused and to move through life in love, not through fear, not through anxiety. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have anxiety. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have moments of fear, but we're going to do our best to show you all how to handle those moments of fear and how to handle those moments of anxiety better, so that you can stay with God and stay at peace, right? So my question that led me to salvation is, what is my purpose? And God was the answer.
I think that they're saying that's what they put.
Right. Did I hear correctly? Are you continuing to do reaction? Yes. Actually, thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna do a follow-up message to my friend Brad and see how long it's gonna take for them to send me those files. That's literally all I'm waiting for, is for them to send me those files, and then I'll schedule a date with us to react to The Chosen season 2. What is the meaning of life? What is its purpose? So God, right? Okay, excellent. Cami Love, thank you so much for the welcome. You reminded me of the verse, Jesus is the Spirit, and where the Spirit is, the veil is lifted. Where the veil is lifted, there is freedom. Can't remember the verse exactly. Pastor Chad, can you help us out on that? Actually, Emily, I'd recommend that you listen to Pastor Chad's sermon that he did on this, because he just worded it beautifully, and he used a beautiful analogy comparing it to when he's riding on his bike. I really love that. I recommend that you listen to it, because it really speaks on that, just about being free, having that freedom, right? And part of what I wanted to do with you'll see it in one of the next videos, because I'm probably going to record it tonight or tomorrow morning, and then I'll upload it as soon as I can. It'll have a slideshow, and it's going to talk about finding peace in the chaos and what that really means. Because in the world is always going to be chaotic. We can't control any of that. There's always going to be an issue. There's always going to be problems. There's going to be unexpected situations. And I want to share how I personally keep my peace, internally speaking. And I'm going to share that with you. And hopefully it helps some of you. In that segment, we're going to be talking about, the thing is, a lot of those messages are going to be for people who aren't believers yet. I'm going to be speaking to people who were where I was before, where I believed that there was a higher power, where I believed there was a God. There's not going to be hardcore convincing. I'm not going to be like, you need to follow the Bible, right? It's going to be a very loving approach to, hey, this is how my journey, this is where I am right now. This is how I got here, and I know where you are. I'm going to meet you where you are, and I'm going to show you, all these beautiful phrases or verses that I found, and then let you decide whether or not you're ready to make that next step. Nobody's going to shove you in. Nobody's going to pull you in, because familia, there's a lot of people who are hurt by the church. Lots and lots of people who have been hurt by the church. And if they haven't been hurt by the church, they've been hurt by someone who is in the church, right? And sometimes it's very hard for people to approach God when they've been hurt by the church, or when they've been hurt by a follower of Christ or by a follower of God. And I know what that feels like. I know what it's like. It's like watching everybody walk into a restaurant and you not being invited, or being invited, but then being guilted into the reason why you're not eating with them, or like there's always a hook to it or a catch to it. And I don't want people to feel that way. I want people to feel loved. I want people to feel like they have a sense of worth. I know that Erika herself was told by by another an old relationship, that she was made felt like God wasn't there, and she questioned herself too. I mean,
I did.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. We can talk about that. I have no problem sharing that. Yeah, it was one of those. You're talking about my okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this person he didn't call himself an atheist, but said that there was no God. So, I mean, he didn't say he was atheist, but he didn't believe in God. He said that that I was basically ignorant for believing in what I believed in and what I knew to be true. It was always, and when I wanted to not even push him to believe what I was saying, but just to have him hear me, it was always he shut off. Nope, I don't want it. Nope. And it was just me. I was made fun of. I was felt like I couldn't speak about it. And I was at a time where I didn't really have a lot of people because of the person that I was with. I lost a lot of people around me. So I was like kind of left alone. And then there was a part of the relationship as well that it turned somewhere really, really, really negative, where it was thrown in my face of, where's your God now? Kind of thing. That was literally what was told to me when something very, very terrible was happening to me, was, where's your God now? And then, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I did sit there and I cried, and I remember like on my knees and saying like, well, like, is he right? Like, I had to question it for a second. Like, I was really, really beaten down. So I was like, well, where are you? And I asked, where are you? Show yourself to me, or give me some sort of sign, because, I need to know that you still are here with me, because, he just threw something at me that was not questioning until he threw it at me. And it was, well, where's your God now? And it was done in such a malicious, hurtful way. And because I was doubting myself as a person, I didn't think that I was lovable at all for anything. Like, even for our God, who's so great and so loving, I didn't even think I was worth his love because of what he was doing to me, what he said to me. And it was no good. I haven't really talked about that with you guys, actually. There's a lot, but that was probably like the biggest moment in my life that I literally was questioning God. If I was even worth it anymore. And I was like at a low part of my life. And it was hard to get myself back up, but with God still being by my side through the whole thing, I made it through and I'm here now. Like, I'm still here. And yeah, I questioned him. I'm not going to deny that. He knows that I did, but I never left him. And I never thought that he wasn't going to protect me, because he was protecting me in that situation. Even when he asked me, where's your God now? He was there through the whole time. And it took me a while. I was angry with God. And I said, if you were there with me, why didn't you pull me out of this? Why didn't you get me out of this sooner? But there was a lesson. There was a big lesson for me, and to not give up on God. And I didn't give up on him. I questioned him, but I didn't run away. I didn't give up. And I didn't say that I no longer believe in you and I don't ever want to go to you again. Like, no, I stepped away for a second, but I also stepped away from myself. I wasn't just that I stepped away from God. I stepped away from me, like from who I was. And I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. A lot of things. Yeah,
I'm so sorry about that, because for you had a bad experience with someone who wasn't, spiritual at all. And I when I was a Catholic, I actually was treated that way by someone who was spiritual, making me feel like the things that I was experiencing were not real, like the things that the beautiful things of my beautiful relationship with God was not real, that it was the devil that was doing all these great things in my life. It's like, why would the devil want to even do that? Why would the devil want me to move out of, like, to get me, to help me out of a situation and then keep me in a good situation? Why would he trick me into a good situation? That doesn't make sense. I mean, sometimes tricks you into a good situation and then you end up, somewhere worse, or you end up in a bad place, but never, leads you in a good place, and then leads you to a good place and then leaves you in a good place. Like that's God. Nobody could tell me otherwise. But the moment that I started questioning that, I had a family member, push me away, and then I had the leader of my church push me away.
Yeah.
And And then many other Christians that I came across in my journey as an atheist were not kind. It wasn't until I came to this channel and I met other Christians. Actually, before that, even Erika was the first Christian who respected the fact that I wasn't a Christian and respected the fact that I wasn't, vocal and open with my spirituality and my relationship with God. And then thanks to you all, who you all shared beautiful stories with me, and you all welcomed me with open arms and showed me that it was okay for me to be open. Here I am. Here we are sharing our personal stories with you all. And we're, for a lot of you, you're thinking like, hey, welcome to the family. And for me, it's like a welcome back, because I left and now I'm back. Now I'm back. I'm back in a different way. Obviously, God led me through this atheistic journey so that I could come a lot closer to him, because if I would have stayed in that church, I don't think that I would have had the same relationship that I have with him today. No. I don't think that I would have that same connection that I have with him today. I don't think that he would be as important. Well, I'm gonna step back a little bit. I think that God was important to me back then. And if I would have continued in that journey, he would still be important, but he would only be important at a psychological level. I don't think that it would have ever sunk deeper into my very being, where I would connect with him in a such a profound way that my mind couldn't even comprehend. Like I never imagined that I was going to be able to touch a part of myself that I had that is untouchable by anything else, not even my mind. It's like if I could illustrate it this way. It's like if I took a journey into myself and I went past the gate and I met Christ or met God inside of myself. And at the gate, when I turn around, my mind is just like, oh, I can't enter this space. Like this is inaccessible for me. Like I can't access this level. And it's waiting for me at the gate. And every once in a while, I slip up, I go outside, and I get pulled by my mind. And my mind gets me thinking things I don't want to think, imagining things I don't want to imagine. It makes me worry about things that I don't need to be worried about. It makes me relive past traumas that I don't need to be reliving. And then when I finally come to, I go, oh, that's right. I can go back into this gate, and it stays behind the gate I'm home. I'm safe. I'm in a safe place, familia, and I just want to be if I can, just a messenger of this, that place exists in you too. There's a place inside of you that you yourself aren't even familiar with. There's a space inside of you that's completely safe, where there's love, where there's kindness, where there's complete safety and serenity and tranquility and love and peace and kindness and all the good things that come from God. There's a space inside of you that exists right now, that's available to you right now in this very moment, should you choose not to listen to the crazy things that your mind tells you. And quite frankly, this creature that we call the devil, unfortunately, it thrives in that realm, in the realm of the mind. That's where it gets you, because you don't know the difference between what God is telling you and what the devil is telling you, or what is just echoes of your past. And it thrives on that. It uses echoes of your past memories, past images, past thoughts, and it uses it against you. And it says, you're not worth anything. You're useless. Remember that time that you did this? And then it flashes images in your mind, and it says, remember that time that you did this and there's a huge mistake? Remember when you acted spontaneously and then you made this mistake? Or remember when you trusted this person and look at you, you're such a fool, you're an idiot, you're stupid for thinking this, you're stupid for feeling that, you're stupid for behaving this way. And it gets you. You give it your attention, which is what it lives off of. You give it your attention, and then it's got you. It's got you. But when you're behind that gate, when you step behind that gate, it tries. It says, can you come here real quick? I just want to talk to you. And you're like, I'm good. I'm safe.
Yep.
I'm here. I'm home. And you're completely surrounded and secure and safe in the arms of your Father. And it's such a beautiful place to be. And familia, all I want to do is point to that space and lead you there. And that's it. And show you that there's a place inside of you that's completely safe, that's home. It's home. You don't have to wait till you die to get to heaven. I probably, there's probably going to be some people who are going to take that wrong, but I'm just here to speak the truth. You don't have to wait to die to get to heaven. You don't have to wait till you die to see God. You don't have to wait till you die to be in his presence. You can be in his presence here and now, right now. And we're all learning that. I'm not an expert in it, but I've lived here for a very long time. And of course, I've also lived outside of that gate, but I already know that past that gate, the mind cannot enter. Mm-hmm. It's not in its territory. It can't operate there. It's like if you step out into, if I could put it in another way, it's like if you step out of that darkness, it's like being in the light. You step out of the darkness, the devil gets you, because that's where it operates, in the dark, right? The moment you step into the light, it can't. It operates in the shadows, and you're not in the shadows right now. You're in the light, and when you're in the light, you're a child of the light. You live as your true state, in your true state, which is as a son of God or daughter of God, a child of the light. Period.
Everything you said. I'm just kidding. No,
have you experienced moments like that? Moments where you go into yourself and you're like just at peace, you're happy. Let's scooch over a little bit just so you're not out of frame.
That's okay.
Have you ever?
Yeah, I have. I tend to be the one though that's still trying to work on not struggling with the negative thoughts in my mind. The unwanted emotions, feelings, sometimes those tend to get louder, seem to be louder than the other ones. I try to do my best to mute those ones or literally just toss them away. But a lot of it has to do with the things that I've gone through in my past. That sometimes I'm still in a healing process as we speak. There's still times that I feel unworthy. There are times that I feel that I could be doing more. I could be, I don't know. I'm kind and loving. That's never changed, which honestly, if I could be honest, that's what I was really afraid of when all the stuff that happened to me growing up, that specific time when I was going through that tough time in my life with that person, I literally thought it was going to make me have hate in my heart. Like I thought it was just going to completely change me. But it actually made me love more, I think, to be honest. And even that person, I don't hate that person actually. That takes a lot for someone to really actually, and I forgive that person. And that's even bigger because in order for me to be able to move on and to really just heal myself and go on my journey, I had to forgive that person for myself. I didn't forgive that person for them. And I looked at myself and I'm like, you know what? We talked about this too. Hurt people. And I honestly feel that person was just hurting. It doesn't justify or make it right. It doesn't justify the people that have hurt him or anybody who's hurt you in a way. It doesn't justify and doesn't make it right. But hurt people. And I think to stop that chain, I could have been part of the chain and I could have taken what happened to me and ran with it and been like, well, I'm going to be like that now. I'm going to go to the world and the next person that's going to be nice to me, I'm not going to receive it and I'm not going to give it. And I would have just been a follower of the chain, on the chain. And who is going to break the chain? I know that I can't do it on my own, but it's part of it. Like I wanted to start that different chain and go a different direction, not stay on the same chain. We had that conversation the other day, that long conversation when you were asking me those questions about what's the source of my,
of your suffering,
of my suffering. And we went through this whole thing and it was just,
you mentioned a lot of things, right? You mentioned a couple of things. And what was the thing that was not on your list?
Myself. That was the big one. I think, he asked me what's the source of your suffering? And I had said, shoot, what did I say?
You said that the source was
there was
insecurity?
No, unworthiness.
Unworthiness.
I felt like there was, and then he asked me more questions that led me up to, and then when we got to the end of it, he was like, well, what Dick said? What was one that you didn't say? And it was this main source of my suffering is myself. We are kind of like the main suffering of ours. We are the main suffering in a sense, right? That's what
we're the source of our own suffering. Yeah.
Our source,
because we allow other people to tell us and dictate who we are. We allow them to build our identity. We allow them to tell us that we're like, what are some of the things that people have told you that you agreed to, that you accepted as you?
That I was unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I was not important. That's the same thing as unworthy, but different. I was told that I was not loved. It wasn't just something that somebody made me feel. It was told to me. You are not loved. You are gonna, you're gonna spend the rest of your time by yourself. You're not beautiful. You're just a bunch of, I don't really want to go into more, but for the gist of it, those are all the things that have been told to me that I believed, because I mean, at the same time I had lost a lot of people. So I was like, well, maybe this person's right. Nobody's by my side. I can't go to anybody. I'm alone. But that was the part of me that was just confused in a sense. I felt like I was alone, but I really, really wasn't alone. I know that. It just, in the moment when you're just feeling so low and so down, I mean, sometimes people's words hurt. I know that we should have more control over not allowing people's words or to define us, because we are who define us, and God is who defines us ultimately, and we all do it. We've all done it in our lives, where sometimes someone says one thing and we run with it, and it just, we stick it and it stays in here, and we can't get rid of it somehow. And I don't know, I guess I've told you before that sometimes it's like since it's been said to me so many times, it's where I go. It's like, kind of like, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to take compliments either. People are like, no, you're beautiful. And I don't mean beautiful as on the outside. I'm talking about like somebody really knowing the person, the Erika, that I'm like, the person, the spirit that lives within me. That's the person that I'm talking about. The outside is not what I'm saying when I say that I think somebody's a beautiful person or a handsome person, but it's just,
in our development stage, like I'm not a psychologist, but I've read a lot of stuff, and I'm not claiming to be a professional here at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that as we're growing up, we're trying to learn about the world and what we mean to the world and how we fit in the world. And a lot of times we start to trust what the world tells us that we are.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're building our internal maps, right, like our identity, we're picking out what people are saying. And if one person says you're unworthy, and then you see that another person starts to say that you're unworthy, you start to accept it as truth. Well, if 2 people are saying it, 3 people are saying it, 4 people are saying it, then it must be true.
Yeah.
And we let the world tell us and dictate who we are, knowing well that inside of us we have, and whether you call it intuition, you call it the Holy Spirit, like we already know that we are worthy, that we're worth a lot. But again, it's like you're living outside the gate. You're living outside the gate, and you're letting the mind dictate who you are. You're letting the mind take most of the control.
Yeah.
I want to kind of point out something that said, Cap said that sometimes Satan, I forgot where it is, but that sometimes Satan likes to disguise itself as an angel of light. That's true. That very well may be true. But we all know that the nature of Satan is to lie, right? And so you could test these things, and eventually the truth will always stand. The truth will always remain standing, and whatever is false will crumble. So one has to kind of pay attention closely to what it's pointing to. If it's pointing to, like when Christ was in the woods all by himself, he said, hey, man, like, you could turn that rock into bread if you wanted to. Like, you have that power. You already know he's testing you to go against, he was already testing him to go against what his father wanted for him, right? And so again, like, you just got to kind of sort of pay attention to what it's pointing to, and then question and not be afraid of questioning it, right?
Yeah.
Pastor Chad says, the lies of the enemy always attack our identities. The Creator calls us his masterpiece, children, worthy, loved, hard to remember. That's why familia is so important. Need the reminders from you. Yes, Aya. Yes, man. But God cares for us, and we are more important than many sparrows. Yeah, like honestly, like I love that verse too. If he takes care of nature, if everything he takes care of the sparrows, and he makes sure that they're well fed and they don't have to store up. I forgot what the verse is exactly, but he says, imagine how much more he'll take care of you. Roxana, we love you too. Thank you so much.
Bye, Roxana. We love you. Have a good day at work.
Have a good day. Have a great day at work.
An amazing day.
Amazing day. Brianna. Oh, never mind. Let's see. Dear friends, stop believing every spirit. Instead, test the spirits to see whether they are from God. Exactly, Cap. I've been watching a lot of videos online in these last few days on my phone, mostly because obviously I can't stream because I don't have internet wasn't connected, but I still have internet on my phone. Streaming is just harder, but I've been watching a lot of stuff, and I've been seeing a lot of other channels, and there are some channels that speak about love, right? They speak about love, and then 1 second, and then the next second, they're like saying stuff that's like, where's the love? Like, you just completely contradicted yourself, not in 2 videos, but in the same video, you just contradicted yourself. You're speaking about love. You're speaking about, loving your neighbor. But then in the next phrase, you're like speaking ill about other people,
Yeah.
And so, test the spirits. Be very careful who you're learning from, right? And see if there's fear in it. If there's fear, there's a difference between the fear of the Lord and respect for the Lord, right? It's like somebody illustrated like, well, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. But I like to see it this way, familia. Yes, they use the word fear, right? But it's like when I used to go to the market with my mom, my fear was of getting lost, of like wandering away, and then like my mom leaving me, right? Like that's fear. So knowing that, I stay close to my mom. Like it's not that I'm afraid of my mom, so therefore, I'm wise to not walk away from her, but fear of what could happen, not fear of my mother. Just because I'm afraid of getting lost doesn't mean that I fear my mother. That just means that I'm gonna have to stay close to her. I have to be very close to her and walk with her wherever she goes, so that I don't stray away from her. That's all it is, familia. Like that is. Pastor Chad, buenas noches, señor. Thank you so much for the link. I'm going to try to link everybody to go see your video, senor, because it was an excellent teaching. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Yeah. See, Eve says fear is honor, right? So honor. So did you get saved this so did you get saved this year? Honestly, Kimmy, I'm not exactly sure how to answer that. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not perfect, but something me and my wife, we learn to live life and loving our neighbor, but we are humans and we all make mistakes. That's right. For the fedora. Thank you so much, Pastor Chad.
He loves fedoras.
Thanks for the super chat. Yeah. And in fact, I said, there's some I can't wear every day because my headphones won't allow it, but I thought I'd wear it today. Thank you so much, Pastor Chad.
He made me look so underdressed.
Mr. Fancy.
I am Mr. Fancy. I put the bun up today. It was like, I actually had to change my shirt because it was like hot in here. And yeah. Much pretty, my friends. I was cooking tacos before we went on this live, just so everyone knows. Tacos. I said it. I was the first. I started talking about food.
Oh, tacos. Her tacos were so good.
I made him tacos today.
Delicious. I played Rock, Firefly, Deliverance, Lazy Sturm. In the background, it fits. Oh,
sorry.
I gotta play me some metal today, at some point.
We do.
Zoe needs prayers. Familia, please help us out.
Praying for you, Zoe.
So these are just some of the topics that we want to touch on in the next couple of weeks, familia, or moving forward. Really, is to draw you closer to God. I'm gonna let the pastors do the preaching. I'm not going to try to teach you anything biblical. I am gonna tie it into the Bible so that you all can be more comfortable with what I'm saying, right? Because I don't want anybody to say, "Well, he's not using scripture," right? I don't want anybody saying that. Okay, and so I am gonna use some scripture in it. Because I think it's important, but what you will see me do a lot is I'm going to quote Jesus exactly. I'm going to do my best to quote him as much as I possibly can, because I think out of everything that is said, what he says is far more important than some letter that was written to something else, like to some city or some church, and I'm not trying to dismiss it. I'm not saying that it's not important, but I'm saying that my focus as a student of Christ is to study exactly what Christ said. And so I want to make sure that it's all tied into that, specifically tied into that, because I think one of the most important verses that now I'm starting to see a lot of other channels talk about is this verse about like, hey, like, what are the most important commandments? And he says that love God with all your mind, heart, and soul is the first, and the second is to love your neighbor as yourself. And there's a lot of things that you can talk about when you're talking about that very simple lesson, but it ties into one of the most important things that I've been reading a lot lately, and it's come up a lot lately, is if you love me, that Jesus says, if you love me, what does he say?
What?
What does he say? If you love me,
you'll obey me. You'll obey my command.
You obey my command. If you love me, you will obey my command. And then he repeats it again later. Those who love me will keep my command. Those who do not love me will not keep my command. And so it's fair to say that if we're not loving each other, then what?
Then you're not obeying his command.
And if we're not obeying his command, then we are not what?
You're not loving your Father.
You're not loving Christ. You're not loving Christ. If you're not loving
That's
your
right.
neighbor as yourself, you are not obeying him, which means you do not love him. So how can you say that you love him if you're not keeping his command? And his command is this: love one another. Period.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just hard because if I could just be honest, I mean, I am always honest, but sometimes I'm like timid to say, like, it's just hard for me sometimes because I see it happen often, not just to myself, but I see it to other people. And it breaks my heart to see that people talk about loving Christ and having Christ in their heart, but I don't see them loving other people the way that they're supposed to be loving other people. And it breaks my heart because I'm going to love everybody. I love everybody, and I'm going to be loving to everybody, and I'm going to be kind to everybody and genuine because I truly believe that everyone is deserving of love and kindness. And sometimes I don't see that, and it does break my heart, and it makes me I don't want to say question people, but it makes me look at people and be like, I'm going to say it. Do you really have Christ in your heart? Because I see people not always loving everybody.
yeah. A lot of people seem to have Christ in their mind.
But you have to have it in your heart.
Like,
and
you can quote scripture day in, day out.
Like I've had people tell me, you don't know all the scripture, so how could you have Christ in your heart? Because I genuinely love everybody, and I'm going to continue to be that way. I'm going to continue to show compassion for other people. And if somebody comes up to me and they say they're not a believer, I'm not going to shy them away, and I'm not going to pressure them. I'm not going to force it down their throat. I will do what God has intended me to do, which is to love. And I'm going to continue to do it that way. That's why when I met him, I knew where he stood, and I was a Christian when I met him. I was new into my Christian, my journey and my building my relationship up with God again, and making it strong again. But I never looked at him and said, you know what? You're not worthy of my time. You're not worthy of my attention. You're not worthy of my love because you don't call yourself a Christian. Mm-hmm. Never, ever. He told me about his past and that he was a former atheist, and I wasn't like, oh no, sorry.
Even though an atheist scared you at one point, right?
Yeah, it did. He did. Yeah, an atheist did scare me, but I wasn't going to be scared of I'm not going to judge him. Mm-hmm. That's not my job. That's not my place. God doesn't judge me. God doesn't judge the next person. So I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? That's not me showing love. And I don't ever say that on here because I get nervous, but it's just sometimes hard for me to really fully see people having Christ in their heart when I don't see them loving. And it hurt me in the beginning when people were so hurtful to him, and not just him, people who were also coming to this channel and were either atheists, non-believers, and they were like scared to come out and say anything because of the attacks that they were receiving. And it broke my heart because that's not what we should be doing. We should not be scaring people away, making people feel bad for how they feel. If it's okay to disagree, but we can all learn something, educate one another. Judgment is not love. That I agree. That is, judging people is not love. Scaring people is not love. Making people feel bad about what they feel, not love. I think that we're all capable. I think that we all should have our own minds when it comes to things, bring them all together. But if we all bring it back to love, then that's what's important here. We've been saying that since the beginning. And yeah, there's that. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just probably went a little off topic. I normally don't say anything like that just because I'm not afraid. Okay, well, no, I'm afraid. I don't want to get not attacked because you guys are great. You guys are beautiful people. But I don't ever want to rub somebody the wrong way with my words. I have to be careful with how I word myself because I don't want to ever come off offensive, because I still want to do it with love. I want to speak with love and not make anybody feel uncomfortable or unwelcome. And if I ever have, tell me and I will make it right, because at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to feel like I said something that may have been offensive, because that's not what we're trying to do ever. Mm-hmm. I just want everybody to just love one another. Yeah. And
real quick, Jobin says, what is it about Christianity that led you to convert? Mm-hmm. there's a bit of a story there with my journey. I was already in church before. Like I was playing guitar for God, and I would go. I was be in church about maybe 3 or 4 days out of the week when I was younger, and I was happy to serve. It was a priest's inability to take my questions. With questions that weren't even, it's not that I was questioning my faith. I was just questioning things that I think he was uncomfortable with answering. And he pushed me away. And then meeting other Christians that were not very loving kept me away. And it wasn't until the love of other Christians that actually led me back, because I was listening to the music, right? I was on this channel listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can imagine me just standing there at the door, just like listening to Hillsong and listening to Elevation Worship and listening to Corey, you know, do his thing. And I'm like, okay, the music's great. And as a matter of fact, I was like at the door going, hey, come on in, welcome. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, I see a seat right over there. You can pop in. And I wasn't even a part of it. You know, I was just listening to the music, still, you know, welcoming people. It's like people were like messaging me, telling me, like, "Hey, man, thanks to you, I'm a Christian," or "Thanks to you, like I decided, great, like come on in, like you know, as far as I could see, everybody's good here. Like they're all like, you know, happy and they're at peace with each other, you know. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then guess what? At one point, I actually came inside and I sat in the back seat, like way back in the back row, and just listened. You know, and eventually I'm making my way to the front. I don't think that I'll ever be in the altar, you know, or in the stage or whatever you call it, you know, but that it's kindness, and it's love, and it's always going to be kindness, and it's always going to be love. I honestly don't care how much people will tell you, like, no, you have to tell people that they're sinning and you have to tell them to turn away from their sin. I don't care if I'm attacked. I will gladly tell you that no, you don't. You don't have to. You do not have to. What you do have to do is love them. You do have to. That's actually a requirement. That is actually the only thing that God said, that Christ said, asked you to do, was to love one another. If you're doing that, then your words will be kind. Then your approach will be patient. It will be kind. It'll be understanding, right? And all those good things. And then that person will just come around. You don't need to beat them with the Bible to get them to understand that their ways are sinful. Let them see your love. Let them see your happiness. Let them see your tranquility, your peace. And then let them ask you, hey, why are you so peaceful? What about you makes it so that your life is fruitful? Why is it that you sow and you reap good stuff? And I sow and I reap, you know, pain and failure and all these other things. What's the difference? And then you say, well, the difference is Christ. Like I have all my faith in Christ. I have all my faith in God. Everything I give to him. I offer everything to him. I live for him. I breathe for him. Everything that I do, every action that I take is with him in mind. And I ask myself just plainly, like, is this honoring him? Is this praising him? Or is it making him look bad? If it's making him look bad, I'm not going to do it. Because if me standing in some corner with a sign that's hateful that says God hates fill in the blank, I'm not praising him. I'm not glorifying him. I'm not doing anything except hating his people. What that sign actually says, I hate those people, and I think my God hates those people too. So where's the love? Where's the love, right? And yet you'll see them every Sunday reading the Bible, and please do not take this as me like judging, okay? I'm not judging. I'm just painting a picture here, and I'm just showing you what I see, familia, because not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom. I remember little phrases. I can't tell you it's John this or Matthew that. I can't remember any of that, but I know specifically it says not everyone who calls him Lord, Lord will be entering heaven. And they'll say, didn't I do these things in your name? Didn't I, you know, save these sinners? Didn't I go and perform miracles? And he says, yeah. But when I came to you, and when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was thirsty, you didn't give me anything to drink. When I came to you as a stranger, you didn't invite me into your home. You rejected me. So who's coming to your church that you're rejecting? Who's coming to your house that you're rejecting because they think differently than you? Who's coming to your house that you reject because they live a different lifestyle that you don't agree with? Like, familia, like we're failing. We're failing drastically at loving one another. And our goal is just to bring that back. Like Justin Timberlake brought sexy back. We're bringing love back.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing. We're like bringing love back.
You just like
Kimmy,
reminded me of
so
something.
Much.
Oh, Thank you, Kimmy. Have a good night. You reminded me of something when you said like how like just because somebody lives a different lifestyle, do we like reject them? Or the person who showed me like the most kindness and love, honestly, my nanita, she was my great grandmother. She passed away going on 2 years ago, literally right before COVID, you know, like a few months before COVID had happened. And she was a Catholic. She taught me a lot. Like she was so full of love and welcomeness that every time I was with her, I felt like the presence as a child. I always felt the presence of God with her. Like she was so devoted and so faithful, but she did it in such a loving way. She was like the perfect example to me of what love really was literally through God. She was like my first experience with God in that way, because she was so loving with her approach and everything that she did. She welcomed everybody. And my nanita, my great grandmother, went through a lot. A lot. She lost her husband when she was, you know, only in her 40s, and she never remarried. She would still wear her ring, and she was devoted. And when you would ask her, how many, when are you going to get remarried, Anita? I would talk to her in Spanish, and she'd be like, no, I already have 4 boyfriends. I already have 4 loves. And I was like, what did you just say? Like, did you just say you have 4 lovers? And she's like, yeah. She was talking about her 4 children. She had 2 sons and 2 daughters. And she was like, those are my loves. And that's who I'm going to be with forever. My husband passed away. He's with God. And she was okay with that. She knew, because she was so right with God and loving, that she just was like, okay with it. You know, and then she lost, my grandfather passed away, her oldest. And then my godmother, my Nina, she passed away. So she lost 2 children as well. And she was still she showed me strength, because she was so strong, and she was like, it's okay. God needed them. God, he knew what he was doing. He had them in my life for this long, and they were beautiful children. I loved them. And it's just, she was like the perfect example of really just loving the way that God wants us to love. And it's just beautiful women. So when you're talking about that, how like we need to like welcome everybody, she was she didn't look, she would see a homeless person and she would want to give them, but she wasn't afraid of them. She's like, oh, I'm gonna make them up a burrito with beans and I'm gonna go feed them, you know, like, or no, mija, she would tell me, no, mija, don't be scared. I'm like, no, I'm not scared. I was a kid, so obviously as a 6, 7, 8-year-old, I was like, wait, that looks different to me. Like I'm a little nervous, you know. And she's like, no, don't be scared. Like they need to be loved too, mija. Like love them. And she would tell me that all the time. She was just a beautiful woman. And when you brought that up, her face just popped up into my head, and I was just like, she was a beautiful woman. Rest in peace to that.
Shout out to
my nanita. Yeah.
You know, familia, that space that I told you about earlier, like if you're in that gate, so again, think about that. Like you're behind that gate where the mind and the world too cannot enter. It's a sacred space. The world cannot enter into that space, right? So in that space, the world will tempt you, but you will not be tempted. Like it'll hate you, but you will not be hated. Like it will judge you, but you will not be judged. Like I'm not meaning to be vague there. It's not like a play on words, or I'm not trying to be like sound wise or anything like that. That's just true. Like you want to step into a place where your addiction can't touch you, where your hatred, your resentment can't touch you anymore, where like fear, anxiety, the pressures of the world can't touch you anymore. It's there. Like it doesn't mean that it's going to disappear. It will definitely try, but it won't succeed. It's like when you retreat there, you're close to God. Like you walk with him. Everything that you do, as you're washing your hands, as you're cooking, as you're cleaning, as you're driving, as you're dealing with difficult situations like a difficult boss, or maybe you're in having trouble with your spouse, or maybe you're having trouble with your children or a brother or your parents. Like none of that actually can touch you. It's you're walking with God, and as long as you're in that stillness, you'll always have the right words to say. You'll always know the right actions to take. You'll know what to stay away from. God will tell you in that moment, do not react. Do not say that. Like your brain will go, are you kidding me? Are you going to let this person talk to you like this? These are fighting words. And Jesus says, I don't recommend that.
Yeah.
I do not recommend that. And then depending on where you are living, if you're living in the mind, you're going to listen to the mind, you're just going to react. But if you're here, you're going to respond. And there's a difference between reacting and responding. And what you want to do is be responsive, be responsible versus being reactive.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a beautiful space to be in. I'm going to do my best to do little short clips on how to get there, thoughts or practices that you can do to hopefully get you there to begin with. And then once you're there, how to stay there. Again, I'm not trying to compete with pastors. This is going to be just an additional thing that maybe pastors themselves don't even know, that tools that are available to them that they probably won't teach you, because either they themselves don't know it, or they want to keep it to themselves and only use it for themselves and keep the people in ignorance. Maybe they don't trust that you'll know how to do that. Maybe they're afraid that if they teach you how to get into this space, that demons will get you, or something silly like that. Or maybe they themselves haven't even explored a space like this. You know, it's not unbiblical. It's not anything to be afraid of. Okay. In fact, all I'm going to do is point back to Christ. And that's how you know that you can trust it. I'll never point to anything else other than Christ, you know. And so again, I'm not competing with the pastors. Please do get your scripture. Please do get your theology and all of that from your pastors. Trust that to them, because I'm ignorant when it comes to that. I'm still an amateur. I still don't know, verses like that. But together we're gonna get us to a safe space where Christ is, where the Holy Spirit, lives, and we're gonna live better lives because of it. We're gonna be able to bring ourselves to forgive people who have hurt us. We're gonna bring ourselves to be okay that we went through a hard childhood. We're gonna bring ourselves to be just okay and move forward and live a future, a better future. Okay, it's not gonna be those if you pray for this, then riches will come. Like I'm not gonna be that person. Okay, but we are going to be. We're gonna go home to the light. That's what we're gonna do. That may sound kind of like culty, but it's not gonna be that.
No,
There's not gonna be any Kool-Aid or drinking or anything like that. There's not gonna be any Kool-Aid drinking or any moving to Guatemala or anything like that, or starting a place in the desert or anything like that. Nothing like that. Share your biggest question you had before as a Catholic when your priest failed you. Okay, so really quickly, I'll get into that. My grandfather passed away, and it was my very first experience with death. I didn't know what to make out of it. All I know is that the day that my grandfather passed away, I was really conflicted because he was my only father figure. I was walking down the street to go get some bread in the middle of the night. In Mexico, the bakers, they'll bake all night, right? And sometimes to make a little extra cash, they make exaggerated breads. They make like these huge breads called bolillos, and they make these huge ones, and they'll sell them for really cheap. So my grandma would send me out there, right? So I was on my way, and I was having my conversation with God. And I said, God, like my grandfather was my greatest protector here on earth. Like he looked out for me. He was like my father. I didn't know my real father. In fact, I met my father for the very first time just like 2 weeks before my grandfather's death. And I said, and all he wanted for me was to protect me. And I said, Father, can you please give me a sign that you will allow him to continue to take care of me? And as I finished that sentence, the lights came off. They all just in that block, not in the block ahead, not in the block behind me, just in that block. And I got so scared, I grabbed onto this post that was there, and I was breathing, and then suddenly like this warm feeling came in me, like this warm sensation in my stomach, and it just completely filled up my whole body. And I smiled because it felt like that was God embracing me. And I said, God, is that my sign? Is that you? And then the lights came on, right? So I was happy. And I came back to the States. Every single time that I had an issue, like I was troubled, I would pray, and I would ask for a sign of how to get out. And in my grandfather's voice, I would hear things, or I would see flickering lights. And then if I would be still, I would hear guidance, and then I would get myself out of that situation. It was out of a bad situation. So everything that was to do with signs was a good thing. It led me to something good. Like I was lost in the middle of nowhere in LA, hanging out with some friends. I took a wrong turn in the freeway, and I got off in this place that had like construction. So it was a lot of detouring and stuff. And I was beginning to panic because it seemed like I wasn't getting anywhere. This is before GPS is on your phone. So I was like completely lost, and I was about to get to a street corner, and I said, God, I'm lost. Can you please help me? Can you please guide me? And the light went from green to yellow and then red, which is what it does, but it started blinking red, like when there was construction in another site, but this light was working. I saw it working. It was working just fine. So when it was blinking red, I stopped and I closed my eyes briefly while I was stopped. Right now, while I was driving, while I stopped, I took a deep breath, and in my grandfather's voice, I heard, "Make a right here." So I made a right, and surely enough, it led me back on the freeway, and it led me back to where it was. So every single time I had that situation, it led me to something positive, right? So to make a long story longer, I had a conversation with one of my uncles who was a Jehovah's Witness, and he is a cessationist. So he believes that these things do not happen. In fact, he threw a wrench in my faith and said that it was the devil that was doing these things for me, tricking me into believing that it was my grandpa, because God doesn't do these things. God doesn't help you. He doesn't save you in that way. He doesn't intervene with us. In fact, God is completely silent. He doesn't want anything to do with us until we die and then go to heaven. So this shook me. As you can imagine, he completely pulled the rug right from under me, and I felt like I was falling, because it's like, okay, then all of these signs that were so beautiful and so dear to me, like, you just completely like took it from me. Like, you just completely robbed me from something beautiful, right? So I go to my priest. In fact, it was deeper than that, because he said my grandfather couldn't possibly be the one doing it, because he was laying in some world right now, just sleeping, waiting for the dead to be risen again and for him to be judged. So we can't do that anyway, right? So I said, okay, well then that's great. That was his dad. So I was like, okay, if you want to think things that way, go ahead, think things that way. But like, I know what I'm experiencing is real. So I went to my priest and I explained to him, and I don't think he liked that. I don't think he liked that at all. And I asked him, I said, is it true that the Bible says this, that my grandpa's sleeping? And then he said, well, I want you to read this other book. And I'm like, yeah, but what does the Bible say? And he was adamant about me reading some other book that some other priest wrote. And I'm like, okay, but what does the Bible say? And he was like, don't worry about what the Bible says. Just read that book. And then my heart sank into my stomach, because now I'm thinking I have questions and no one has answers. Nobody has answers. In fact, now you're making me feel like I can't trust what I know to be true inside of myself. Now I feel like I can't trust God. I can't trust that thing inside of me that makes me feel like I'm one with God, that I'm connected to him, that he communicates with me, that he does guide me and lead me to good, right? Because I'm a good person. So I started doubting that. I started to doubt God. And it wasn't until one day I was sitting in church, I was playing guitar, and the procession was longer because we're celebrating something, and the leader of the choir said, Leo, can you play a guitar solo, because we need to make the song a little longer because there's a lot of people. And I said, sure, not a problem. So I went and I played a nice little solo, nothing crazy. It's not like I threw on the distortion and I was like, I wasn't rocking out.
Maybe you should have.
Maybe I should have, but I wasn't rocking out. It's not like I went nothing like that. It was just a nice little simple riff. It was not like a it was like it wasn't anything like that. Right? It was nice and calm. But after Mass, the priest came up to me and said, hey, listen, people didn't come here to praise you. They didn't come here to worship you. They're here to worship God. And if you ever play like you played here today, I'm going to ask you you're not going to be welcome in our church again. And so I left. I was like, that's it. What's the phrase? That's the straw that broke the camel's back, or something like that.
It's the icing on the cake for me. That's what I say.
Icing on the cake. That was the icing on the cake. That was the cilantro on the tacos.
But why?
Right? And so nobody answered that question for me. So that was the question. It wasn't, I realize it's not important now, but the thing is that it was really important to me back then. It was incredibly important for me, because one, that was the only thing that I had left with my grandfather, who I obviously love. He's there. He's on my arm, like he's in here. He's in here, my heart.
Like your heart.
He's the reason for my love, my passion for music. I was the last student, and And I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for that man, for my grandfather. He taught me everything, how to be respectful, how to love, how to not just play music, but how to listen to music. He taught me taught me just things about life, philosophy. A lot of the things he said is still guiding me today. So that was important to me. And it was my uncle who took that away from me. And then it was a priest who couldn't answer a question, who just completely took God away from me. So I was upset. I became an atheist, and I became angry at Christians. And I was striking conversations with street preachers and giving them a piece of my mind and telling them, how stupid they were. And I was just hurt. It's like they say, hurt people hurt people. I was a hurt person hurting other people, telling them how silly they were. And I mean, I would get into these heated arguments where people would just literally have to walk away from me. I was ugly. I was an ugly person. I did not like that Leonardo at all. But
I think I would have still loved him.
You probably
I would have still loved him.
I would have been kind to you. You know something though, like familia, like this is why this channel is so important for me. Okay, for me, because I'm home again. I'm home again, and I'm able to be myself, and I'm able to be where I'm most comfortable in, and that's in the presence of God. And so it hurts me to see so many hurt people, and all I want to do is share the love of God with people, whether you are a believer or not, whether you believe in the future or not. I want it so that I love you to the end. Till the end. Have there been people who have been on the channel that have walked away that I no longer speak to? Yes, unfortunately. It hasn't been my decision. Some of it has been my decision to sort of step away because the relationship there was not going to be healthy. It was a weird pushback. It was a weird like questioning me. And it's not that I was higher or better or anything like that. It's just that sometimes you just have to know when to step back. I mean, and I did. I had to step back. But that doesn't mean that if these people come and apologize, or they say like, hey, I'm sorry I came across strongly, or I'm sorry that I made you feel this way, or hey, maybe they didn't even have an idea of how they made me feel. I'm always going to forgive. Always going to forgive. That is in my nature. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not saying that just to say that. I am a very forgiving person. Like when somebody hurts me really, really bad, if they come back and say that they're sorry, I always forgive.
He forgives. He gives people the benefit of the doubt. He still loves people, and I feel like sometimes we can we love everybody. Sometimes some people can love a little bit more at a distance, but we love everybody, and he is really, really forgiving, and he'll never turn his back on anyone. You could be gone for a year and come back, and it would be like, okay, it's okay.
Yeah, that drives some people crazy because it's like, how can you allow people to hurt you and then just be so cool afterwards? Like,
yeah, it's hard. That's hard. I mean, not hard. It is challenging because that means that you as a person, we have to, I mean, swallow our pride too, and just not make it about us and be like, okay, this is how you show love. You have to forgive and move on. And if you want to heal and really be at peace, it's a way of doing it. And it's hard sometimes. I struggle with that still. Dealt with, a lot of more things than just past relationships.
Yeah, and we all do. And this is exactly why I became so interested in things like psychology and philosophy and the things to do with our emotions and our minds, so that I can figure things out for myself and eventually figure things out to help other people. Because I'm not tooting my own horn here, but there's been like people who don't necessarily want to invite me to places or think of me with certain things. And maybe because I think differently, or because I always get so deep into a conversation, but they don't want anything to do with me except when they are in a bind. Then they need somebody who thinks outside of the box, and then like, hey, Leo,
that happens.
What do you think about this? And it's like, okay. Here I am. I find myself here. I am helping you again, and I do it gladly. I just wish it didn't. I wish it wasn't this way. I wish it wouldn't be that you just come to me when you need an outside of the box thinker, And
that's true. I lost a few people. I don't want to say I lost a few people, but a few people started to treat me a little bit differently, or they distance themselves from me when I started to really grow with my relationship with God again. I stopped doing the certain things that I was doing before. going out and drinking and kind of numbing some of the stuff that I was going through, the pain and the suffering that I had dealt with. I kind of just, I cut it off and I said, this is not the direction that I want to go in. This is not, and not that that's bad if people enjoy to do that and go out and have and drink and hang out with the girls and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's bad at all. I was never judging them. I just felt in my heart that wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. I needed to make a change, and I really wanted to just grow my relationship with God, and I wanted to go down that way, that path. And it kind of, I lost some people on that journey, because I think he kind of opened up that idea, or that maybe the possibility as to why. I think they probably thought I was judging them.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought, well, she's holy now, or whatever they thought. I don't know what they thought.
Yeah. She's going to think she's better than us because she's a follower of Christ. And so,
and I'm going to judge them because
she's probably going to just judge us because we're not,
or she's going to think that we're sinning every day because we have our own views, which that wasn't the case. And I wish they would have given me the benefit of the doubt, because I really didn't look at any of them that way. I didn't look at, like, not just them, but other people. Like, I didn't look at them that way. I still loved them,
mm-hmm.
and I still was kind to them, and I still wanted to have a relationship with them, even though they may not have had a relationship with God and I did. I was not saying like, we can't be friends if you don't have a relationship with God the way that I do. No, I wasn't given that opportunity. It was kind of like decided for me. But then I've come now really in a more peaceful mindset and full heart about it, that God does distance people. He maneuvers, he shifts, he removes people from our lives for a reason. There's a purpose, and I will still love these people. I will still show them kindness if they were to come back and wanted to be a part of my life. I would still always have that door open, because
mm-hmm.
that's just who I am, and that's who I'm going to continue to be.
Yep.
And
that's the answer to this question right here, Kita. How's your relationship with your uncle now? I hope better. That's exactly my answer there. Like, I never even let my uncle know how I felt about it. I didn't treat him any differently. He robbed that from me, but I know that it wasn't his intention to, because he was married to someone who was a Jehovah's Witness, and he wasn't. He was Catholic. And it wasn't until my grandfather passed away that he started asking questions. And of course, it was easy for him to ask his wife, and then his wife told him about, her beliefs, and then he merged into her beliefs. My uncle's always treated me like a brother. He's never treated me like an uncle. He's loved me so much. He's taken me everywhere. He always, greeted me with a huge hug, always treated me with a huge hug. And I never stopped treating him any differently. Even still today, he doesn't know that he's the reason why I became an atheist. Like, I see him and he goes, "Hey, what's up, Leo?" I go, "What's up?" And I give him a huge hug, and he tells me he loves me, and I tell him I love him, and we both mean it. And he always tells me, "Leo, every single time I hug somebody and I tell them that I love them, and they tell me that they love me back, nobody tells me that they love me like you tell me that you love me. Like, every time you say it, I can feel that you mean it." I'm like, "I do, because I love my uncle. He's my uncle first before he's a Jehovah's Witness. He's my uncle first. He's like my brother. He's really, I told you, he treats me like his brother. He's my brother before he's his religion. He's my brother before he is his beliefs. He's my brother before he is his ideas, his concepts, is what he believes in or doesn't believe in, and I never treated him any different." Sister Caroline, thank you so much for this.
Oh, you have to read it though.
Super chat. Sister Caroline says, "Going to the prayer room with Angela on Discord, going in for brain procedure tomorrow. Good night, good people, and welcome home." Thank you so much, Sister Caroline. We'll be praying for you as well. We hope everything turns out well for you, and we'll be praying for the nurses or doctors who are also going to be working on you.
What is it?
God isn't just about love. No, you're right. God is love.
Mm-hmm.
So, what denomination Christian are you? I don't belong to any denomination. Mm-mm. And that doesn't mean I'm non-denominational. I don't belong to anything. I belong to God and God alone.
Amen.
And those are not my words, by the way. That's actually literally when I surrendered. I told God that I wanted to see him, and he said, "You don't belong to a church. You don't belong to anyone. You belong to me." Mm. And so I'm just that. You're welcome, Kita. One day God warned me said I was going to hell for adultery. That woke me up ever since. I still remember that. Yeah. Yes. So I want you all to know that I'm not naive. Like, we're not sitting here saying like love is it. Like, it's 100% it. But it is 100% it. But that doesn't mean that that's all there is to it. Okay, just like I love my daughters, but I will let them know when they're messing up. Mm-hmm. And I will raise my voice. But I'll never make them feel like they are the bad behavior. I will clearly say to them, I love you, but I don't like what you did. I love you, but it's not okay to say that to a person. Mm. I love you, but it's not okay that you did that. And here's why. Because let's say that you did this thing, you did A, B, C. You know what the consequences are? D, E, and F. Those are the consequences. And so I get her to understand where she went wrong and bring her back to the fork in the road so that she can pick the right road. So that next time she comes to that same fork, she doesn't go, well, I'm just stupid, so I'm gonna go down this road again. No, she goes, oh, my dad warned me about this, and here's the right road. I mean, so yes, God tells us and reminds us that we're sinful people, but your job is not to do that. Your job is to love them. Mm-hmm. It's God's job to remind them that they're messing up, not yours. Like, it's not up to you. You don't know what's in that person's heart. You don't know what caused them to do that. It's like if I stole a piece of bread, all you see is that I'm stealing bread, but you don't know that I'm broke or that my child hasn't eaten in many, many months. Mm-hmm. Not months, that my child hasn't eaten in hours and that he's really hungry and that I have to resort to this behavior. Is it right? No, it's not right. I'm still stealing, but you don't know why I'm doing it. I'm not saying that there is a good reason for doing it or that it's justified, but there's always a reason. And you can always lead that person back and say, hey, I know that you're hungry, but here's another option. Instead of stealing, why don't you come to me? Like, whenever you need, like, do not be ashamed. Whenever you need something, I've got extra bread. I'll be more than happy to help you feed your kids. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do that. Because the law says if you steal, you're going to, forget, like, yes, you'll burn in hell or whatever your beliefs are, but you also might get arrested. Is it worth that? Then your children will be taken into the system and they'll be in foster care and all this other stuff. Like, you don't want that. Yeah. Right. So yes, but my job is to love them. That's how I'm loving him. I'm saying, hey, like you don't have to do that. So for the drug addict, you don't have to use that to escape this other thing. Or for the person who's cheating on his wife or on her husband, like, I get it. Maybe it's not working out. But here's another option. Maybe if you talk to your spouse, maybe if you deal with this thing that happened to you when you were a child that makes you crave that. Maybe if you deal with your desire instead of running away from love and all that other stuff. But anyway, you sort of get my point, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
It is tough, but we're here to help one another, familia, and the way to do it is with love. What advice would you give someone who is an atheist? My advice is become agnostic. Become agnostic.
Yeah.
Look, nothing is 100% true. Like, not true. Sorry. Nothing is 100%
guaranteed. Is that the word you're looking for?
I'm looking for a word. Nothing is 100%. Let's just leave it at that. Everything that you think that science can answer, it can't. For me specifically, I know that science is a study of how nature works and how nature operates, and we're trying to figure out how we got here. And for me, science is just studying little tiny bits and pieces of God. When they're studying environmental science, they're studying God. When they're studying, the cosmos, they're studying God. They just don't see it that way.
Yeah.
And whenever they hit a bump and they can't explain something, they go, oh, well, here's the theory about it. Right? It's no different. Like it still takes faith to believe in that. Yeah. So if you're an atheist, another advice would be just like leave Christians alone, man. Or leave religious people alone, leave spiritual people alone. Just because you believe in something, go ahead, believe in it, but stay in your lane. There's no need for you to step over and make somebody feel like crap because you don't believe in what they believe in. I get it. Sometimes they step into your lane and they step on your toes and they tell you that you're stupid for not believing in God. But just because they do it doesn't mean that you should do it too.
Amen.
So, like, take the higher ground, if you will, right? But if you're a serious person, if you're an atheist and you're serious about science and you're serious about learning the truth of your existence, you cannot reject what Christians or what other religious people are saying about the nature of existence. Like, you have to take everything into account. As a serious scientist, you have to take every possibility into account, right? You have to. You can't just dismiss it because it's superstitious. You can't just dismiss it because you can't see it. Like we can't see radio frequencies, but we can harness them, right? And in the same way, some people talk to God, right? And they talk to him, they pick up the frequency, right? In the exact same way. You can't dismiss that they're not, just because you don't see it that way. So if anything, become an agnostic and just say, I don't know if it's true. In fact, that's the greatest advice that my grandfather said to me, was start with I don't know. And I recommend that to Christians too. Start with I don't know, because the moment that you say I know, you've lost. You've lost, because you're going to be so stuck in your way that you're going to break. You're going to crack. So start with I don't know, and then absorb, learn, question everything. Let that be the foundation of where you start. I meant to say, it's hard to find Christians that are not afraid of that. Radio frequencies. So you don't assign yourself to a religion? No, I do not. No. Do you consider yourself a follower of the way? Yes, I do. Is Jesus God? Yes, he is. Yes. So the best way to describe where I stand is that I am a student of Christ, meaning that I'm studying him specifically, interested only in what he has to say, right? And I'm a follower of the way. So student of Christ, follower of the way. I follow the way. I do my best to stay as close as I can to God and follow in his way. That doesn't mean that I don't step away every once in a while because I see a taco over here and I get distracted. And I eat some tacos, and then before you know it, I'm catching back up to God, just to use a little humor there. But that is the best way. But assigning myself to a religion, I do not. I don't assign myself to any specific religion or denomination, because I want to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's something wrong with it, but I personally, for me, I like that freedom. And it's not about me enjoying the freedom, but this is where I am. This is where God and I are meeting, is here. What's up, baby?
No, nothing. I was just reading with Angela.
Sometimes you wonder what they're even teaching, but to break down understanding of his word, but it's more to it than what others think. Let's see. Melissa says, how do you worship God? What does that look like?
How do you worship God?
I just did it.
There.
I just did it. There it is. No, I'm not trying to be funny, but seriously, like, you could do it in many ways. For me, worshiping God is first of all, I give thanks. I'm a person of gratitude. My prayers all have to do with gratitude. So if I pray for you, I would say, I want to thank you for the miracles that are beginning to happen now, the things that the positive things or the good things that you're starting to send Melissa now in this very moment. We pray that I pray that, and then I say, I pray that this happens, but I'm always grateful. Like, that's the attitude of gratitude is always with me. I haven't done it much lately, but I used to wake up in the morning and take my journal, and I would write my morning gratitude. I'm thankful for this. Throughout the day, if something strikes me, I'll write in my journal throughout the day, and at the end of my day, I would say what I'm thankful for in the day. Whether something bad happened, I still give thanks for that bad thing that happened, because it was meant for me to grow. I don't think that God ever gives me anything that isn't intended for me to grow, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. Like, in some way, physically, like tacos, but mentally, sometimes he challenges me mentally, because I have to step back and think, okay, how do I handle this situation? I don't have the tools for it. So then I have to think outside of myself even. And then I go, perfect, this is how I'm going to handle it. And it's all just one big challenge meant for me to grow. And it's meant for you as well. So what does it look like? I just give thanks. Yep. I give thanks for everything, good, bad. I don't even look at it as good or bad. Yes, well, actually, that's a lie. I do look at it as good as bad, but I don't let it sink in as I am bad or my life is bad. No, my life is good because God gave it to me. And I'm grateful for it, period. Worship is more than a song. Yeah, that's true. I know it's a process. Just wondering, Jesus quoted the Old Testament. Do you read that or just the New Testament? The red letters, it's the exciting journey. I'll be praying for you. The red letters is what I'm interested in. I understand that the Old Testament is important. From my understanding is if he came and made a New Testament and the Old Testament is, I'm not saying that it's of no value, but it's not law. It's like old law. But don't take what I just said to heart, because I'm still a beginner in all this, and I'm not married to any idea, and I'm really open to hearing. So if I'm wrong on something, correct me, and I'll be more than happy to change my view on it. All right, familia. It is late for us. We are ready.
Sorry, I'm standing for an hour and a half. Sometimes my back hurts. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, it's okay. I'm fine. We can go on for another 30 minutes.
No.
That's not a problem.
I think we're good. But if you have any last questions, we'll take. How about that? We'll take one or two more questions, and then we will call it a night. Jesus pointed to the Old Testament. He came to redefine it. Okay, good. Okay, thank you for that. I will keep that in mind. Worship is responding to the greatness of God. You can do it through singing, prayer, giving thanks, serving. That's another one. Serving is another way that I.
That's how I worship. I worship every day. I worship silently to myself. I worship through music, through prayer, through thanks. It's for me. It's a lifestyle. It's something that's just within. I do it daily. Sometimes people don't even know it. Others don't know I'm doing it, but he knows I'm doing it. And that's what's important. It doesn't have to be something that I say out loud every day. It doesn't need to be written. If I'm here, he knows what I'm thinking before I'm even thinking it. So it's being done daily. Yeah.
Like you may not know scripture, and I don't know either that well, but you just mentioned something that Christ himself said, that prayer is not about being out in the open and saying a prayer that everyone can hear you. It's about going into your room, lock the door, and having a one-on-one with the Father.
Those are my favorite. That's like my favorite kind of worship. Apart from worshiping and music, when I'm like singing, even though I don't have a good voice, and I'm raising my hands and I'm just like, yes, I feel his presence. But those are my favorite ones. The more intimate, the more personal one-on-one that I have with him. We have those every day, but the ones where I'm just still like, you're just by yourself and you just feel it all. And I just feel so at peace. Those are like my favorite ones, my one-on-one with him. And it just gets me all warm and fuzzy and makes me feel all great. It just like everything that's going on, it just goes into a pause. It's paused, and I just feel his presence, and I'm just overwhelmed with joy and love and all the above.
Yeah. That's great. And that's how you know that it's God. You have all those feelings. And it goes back to what I said. You go into that space and the world, you just said it, everything goes on pause. It's like behind the gate. It doesn't touch you. You're here. You're in the presence. You're dancing. You're singing. You're in joy. You're at peace. Thank you. Kirby
Thank
Poo.
you.
Thank you so much for the super chat. Keep being a blessing. And then down here he says, Leonardo, I remember I donated to you. Thank you. When you first started doing your reactions, and God has blessed me because of it. I believe that you're a blessing to others. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you, and hope, and we pray. Sorry, that I've stumbled on my own words. We pray that He doubles it and triples it for you and continues to be a blessing for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Let's see. I don't know if you guys are taking song requests right now, but if you can, please, it's the Lean Back by Capital City. Do me a favor, Mika. Please leave it in the comment section down below, okay? Because it gets lost here. But I think we need to look into Capital City music. A lot of requests are coming in for that, so maybe we'll start with that one. How about that? How about that? Yeah.
This was actually a great.
This is a great session.
They're always great.
Yeah.
I was talking a lot more today. I was giving my input more today, so I think that's what made it a little more spicy.
There's so much more. There's so much spiritual wealth in the Old Testament. I hope your pastor points you to it, so you can such a blessing. We'll take a look at that for sure. We'll look into it. Again, I'm open to everything, familia, and I want to read it all, and I want to understand it all. But again, I'm not trying to be too attached to the understandings. up here. I want it to sink in here.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it really matters. I'm not pointing to my heart. I'm pointing to my being. Like I want it to be here. I don't want to be with that person that can quote left and right and be quick with it. I want to be able to say that when I speak, that it's coming from that place, from that sacred space. I want it to be, something that is of value to people, and can be a blessing to people, that it comes from God, that it doesn't just come from memorization, because once Alzheimer's hits, like I'm done. But I want to keep praising from within. Otherwise I might forget what praise means,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sad.
God bless you guys. It's a blessing to see brothers and sisters have same passion for Jesus. More important, also for the lost. Yes. Thank you so much. We will continue. We're gonna continue this Jersey. I was gonna say this journey. That's how you know I'm entering hungry brain. I'm hungry again.
It's crazy, Angela. I was laughing because Angela's like, Eric, I thought you fed that man. I did feed him. She
did. We just ate some tacos, but I'm hungry again. Come on, you can't.
There's more
me.
tacos. I'll get him more tacos before we go to bed. But
yeah, that's right. Learning should affect your head, hearts, and hands. Yes, true. I experienced God through music. One of the deep music I heard was Tangri Heaven, a Chinese song that hit me and was deep song. God, I wish I could understand the lyrics, but send it over to me. I want to take a listen. I might not do a reaction to it, but if you join us on Discord, by the way, for those of you who are new to the channel or new to the chat, there's a link in the description, and I'm sure Angela will post it right now. But we have a server, a prayer server. It's free. You can download it on your phone or on your computer, and you can join us for prayers, for movie days, for quotes of the days, question of the days, daily devotionals. We have apologetics. We're studying the book of Mark, I think it is right now, and so much more. So if you follow there and you send me a friend request on that Discord, you can send me links and stuff to music you want me to hear without a reaction. I mostly take them there, because then you can just send me, hey, I just want you to listen to this. You don't have to react to it, but listen to this. I'll be more than happy, because I know I could just listen to it. I don't have to set up my stuff and record or any of that. Yeah. Also, the question of the day will be about tacos today. Don't miss it. Okay, there you go. You don't want to miss it. So here, Angela just posted, and it's also in the link in the description. The link is in the description down below. That's what I meant.
That was like a tongue twister. I was like, what?
Also, be aware of sheep in wolves' clothing, as well as prosperity gospel. Both are extremely dangerous to be around or hear. Prosperity gospel? Could somebody clear that up for me? I think I know what it means, but I'm not sure. Is it the people who are saying that the people who take scripture and will take, like, plant a seed and then, grow your business? Is that what it means? Because if it is, I don't see a danger in that. God did want us to
the pizza one
multiply and be fruitful. Pizza one about broke dessert.
There was a big thing about, we've already had this conversation, but I already know.
Pineapple on pizza?
Yes. We already know where you're at with that.
Yeah.
I'm not like against it. I'm not like, ugh, like, no.
Linda said, I can explain it later. Please do, Linda. Linda's great about explaining things to me. I love the way that Linda explains things to me. No pineapple. Thank you, Angela, for that.
I'm sure that if there was the only thing in the world that you could eat, and you would eat it. I would. Let's
come on, of course.
Yeah.
I'd eventually probably get used to it, but it's just to focus on possessions and money. Okay, yeah, no. Anything that focuses on keeping you in this world is definitely dangerous. I hate to use that word, dangerous. It's not beneficial. It's of no value. Do not store for yourself treasures here where thieves and rats can get to it, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing here, but store your treasures up in heaven, and where your treasures are, so your heart will be. So what you value is where your heart is where your treasures will be. If it's here, just period. If it's here on things of earth, then guess what? When you die, they'll still be here. You can't take any of that. Like I tell people, like, you can't, like, you've never seen a funeral, like, a funeral, like, how you have, like, the cars that are leading towards the, you never see a U-Haul following them, like, with all his stuff, right? Like, it never happens. Like, you're done, like, you're gone, right? You never take your stuff with you. So yes, the treasures in heaven, that's what matters. I just learned that a few days ago, or got deeper into that a few days ago. By the way, I'm gonna try to share it in the if you go to the communities tab and you see my posts like on YouTube, here on YouTube, I'm going to share a link to a video that I was listening to that has all the sayings of Christ. And it has like, first, I think it's the book of Matthew, then Luke, then John, I think, and then Mark. But anyway, it has only the quotes of Jesus, like only what Jesus said. It's such an interesting video because it has, the text and everything. And it's such an interesting one because if you take the time to listen to those, only what Christ said, you get a deeper understanding of who he was and what he meant. And sometimes it even erases what maybe a pastor has taught you about that particular phrase. Because we're human, right? We make mistakes. Maybe some pastors don't have it all together. Maybe they misunderstand it themselves, or maybe they have some kind of an agenda, And like he said, there are sheep and wolves in sheep clothing, and you do have to be careful with that, right? But it all comes down to what they're pointing to. Where are they pointing to? Are they pointing to things here on earth? Don't listen to that. If they're pointing to the treasures in heaven, listen to that, But that doesn't mean don't tithe or don't give, don't donate to the church, because I know that there are tons of churches that are out there that are helping people, like Eric Bjorklund, like he's done trips to Africa to help kids out there, and he's done it through his church or through some program, right? So yeah, there's good stuff. And we've seen a movie called The Blue Miracle on Netflix. We recommend that movie, Blue Miracle.
Such a great movie.
Great movie. There are people who are doing good, and that, not to spoil it, but he has a bad past, and it's hard, but you got to watch that movie. It's such a great movie. Let's talk about it on Discord if we can one day. So I'm gonna look into this a little bit deeper for you all, the prosperity gospel. But like I said, in the next few weeks, we're going to be sharing more content that is going to bring you closer to God. That's going to bring you inwardly, so you can see, what does that mean for me to have a relationship with God? How can I clean up my relationship with God? It's not that through these works you're going to be closer to God, or you're going to be saved. It's not going to be that at all. It's just going to be, how can I clean myself up so that I can be closer to God? How can I allow God to live through me and be in everything that I do? How can I be more grateful? How can I work out my anxiety? It's not that you're doing it yourself, but you're going to do it with God, and we're going to show you how. Okay, so in the next few weeks, I'm also going to follow up with the guys from The Chosen, so we can see when we're going to do the reaction to season 2. I'm sorry for the delay, but we're going to get to it soon. And I want to thank you all so much for being here, familia. Thank you for joining us on today's Q&A. We're gonna let you all go. Okay, we're gonna get some rest. Thank you for being so patient with us and for being understanding. Yes, we're okay. We're fine. We're alive.
I look a little like I'm like, but I'm here.
Yeah, but yeah, and thank you, Angela. Please, if you got any value from today's video, please be sure to hit the like button on your way out. It'll help us out a lot with the algorithm of YouTube. And we thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
As always, thank you, and continue to spread the love that comes from above. And we'll see you on our next adventure. Peace.